Huge news today in the cryptocurrency markets as CEO and founder of Binance, CZ, steps down as CEO, pleading guilty to criminal charges of breaching the U.S. anti-money laundering laws. And the crypto community is going wild. This is unprecedented, both in the financial sector and especially in the cryptocurrency sector. And the space is going a little bit nuts. Gary Gensler is at it again. The SEC is on full attack mode. So I'm going to break this story down in this episode for you, as well as show you a chart from when something not to this magnitude, but similar happened back in 2020 and what happened to Bitcoin next. So stay tuned to the end if you want to see that chart and want to know what to expect in the crypto markets after this storm and the dust settles, because man, we have got a wild episode to unpack today. Also, the SEC is charging Kraken again for a second round, also asking for settlement money. Things are insane in the cryptocurrency market. So without further ado, I'm your host, Megan Nilsson, aka Crypto Megan, and let's get right into it. I want to preface this episode by saying that although it's shocking news in a way, I'm not surprised, as the SEC has been going after Binance for a very long time, and Binance has had to jump through tons of hurdles and just work in the gray zone, as many exchanges have. And, you know, the SEC has mounted an attack against Coinbase, against Kraken, against so many players in this space. And, it's starting to get crazy. I actually have a personal relationship with Binance because I did a fireside chat with Senior Vice President Helen Hai at a Money 2020 show, the biggest fintech event in the world. We did a fireside chat there a few years ago, and I got to know her, and I got to know the Binance team after that. And from everything that I've seen, they really are putting in the effort to put themselves out there, to put a face behind the name and the brand. And Helen Hai had some incredibly insightful ideas on the macroeconomic landscape as a whole, and they just seem like very bright people. One thing really struck me back when FTX was, throwing money around like wildfire, and I remember the narrative at the time. It was that Binance, CZ said that Binance, they're not new players in this game. They've been around now for a few cycles, and they know that they have to have runway money, basically. So they have a lot of cash on the sidelines when all the other exchanges, including crypto.com, were throwing money left and right for publicity, for ads, for Super Bowl space, hiring celebrities and this and that. Binance was on the down low. They were just kind of staying low key, yet still the biggest player in the space because they wanted to have that runway for the bear market. And that says a lot to me about an exchange, to be honest. So it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm going to get into the news. But last thing I'll say about Binance is I've also been to the Binance Blockchain Week. It was really cool. It was a real sense of community. And we were one of the few people invited to a very exclusive gala from around the world. And they even had people like Homeland Security there that was in charge of like cybercrime. And they were wanting to learn from other crypto people in the space. It was a crazy party. I'll throw pictures of it here. I mean, they have interacted with a lot of U.S. lawmakers, and they've had a lot of conversations. And yet here we are still today. Gary Gensler is getting what he wants. He is getting this out of the way. It has been there in the background for a long time, and now finally they're going after Binance full force. And I'm going to go over the news now. So that's just been my experience with the team. Now we're going to get into the meat and the potatoes of the news. Sorry, I'm in my workout clothes. I just got home from playing tennis and saw this news. And so I had a whole episode prepared for you with Charles Hoskinson, who I interviewed for a fireside chat and a Twitter Spaces. I'll put that one up tomorrow because this is the most urgent news at the moment. All right, so let's get right into the news. This is the end of an era. Binance's CZ to step down. Changpeng Zhao, founder and CEO of Binance, is set to step down due to criminal charges. Binance CEO, the leader of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, is set to resign and plead guilty to charges of breaching U.S. anti-money laundering laws, according to a report by Wall Street Journal. And upon digging deeper, there were some other charges here: unlicensed money transfer operations, one count of conspiracy, violating the International Emergency Economic Powers Act 307, and the list goes on. So this is what I came back to after my tennis game, okay? And I had to jump on here and address all this. Just in, Binance agrees to pay $4.3 billion to settle case with U.S. government. Breaking news, CZ resigns as Binance CEO, and just in, CEO CZ pleads guilty to violating criminal anti-money laundering acts. I mean, this is all happening one day. It's going down quickly. And like I said before, this is unprecedented in the financial sector and the crypto sector. It's a lot of money. But fortunately, they do have this kind of runway to get them through bear markets and tough times. So it seems as though things will be fine and the exchange will continue. So CZ founded Binance in 2017, and it quickly became the largest cryptocurrency exchange. CZ's spectacular downfall is not unprecedented. Sam Bankman-Fried, the former CEO of XTF Exchange, is currently facing more than a century in prison after he was convicted on 7 charges. So it's kind of ironic that Sam Bankman-Fried's whole downfall and demise started from CZ's tweet, and now CZ is stepping down. I mean, this is like a soap opera. You just can't make this stuff up. So what I wanted to do here was kind of show you the difference between a traditional finance article and a crypto article. There's just some nuances, and I just want you to understand that like news kind of sways things in a certain direction. So it's good to get your news points from different sources. So Binance CEO steps down as part of $4 billion settlement. So let's go over what this article says. The settlement will be with the DOJ and Commodities Futures Trading Commission. The Securities and Exchange Commission is not participating. As part of the settlement, Zhao will also plead guilty to anti-money laundering laws. So in this settlement, he's not only got to pay this insane amount of $4 billion, which most likely they can afford, and it will be fine, thankfully for them, that if they played their cards right. But also it says here he's going to have to plead guilty to anti-money laundering charges. So he is scheduled to enter the plea in federal court in Seattle on Tuesday afternoon. And the SEC charged Binance and its founder, CZ, in June with operating an unregistered exchange and misleading investors by using a Switzerland-based fund, Sigma Chain, which was also owned by CZ, to inflate the trading volume on Binance's U.S. platform. Through 13 charges, we allege that Zhao and Binance entities engaged in an extensive web of deception. That's really serious sounding, right? This is how Forbes has put it. Extensive web of deception, conflicts of interest, lack of disclosure, and calculated evasion of the law, SEC Chair Gary Gensler said in June. So Forbes is highlighting this aspect. These are all just the different things that the SEC has said about Binance, and particularly they have the problem with Binance US, which is funny because it's not even really Binance. It's just using the name and the liquidity, but it's run by a whole different entity. That's another story. Binance was set to agree to a $4 billion settlement with the Justice Department. The deal would mark the end of the Justice Department investigation into the crypto exchange that began at least in 2018. Reuters reported that federal prosecutors had asked Binance to hand over files and messages relating to its U.S. customers. So they can only get Binance on whatever it's done in the U.S. that's been out of bounds, according to the U.S. Yet, you have to understand, too, all these exchanges are kind of working and feeling around in the dark. There is no regulation, and so the SEC is coming out after the fact and saying, actually you broke this, and this law, but they won't set clear boundaries. So it's very difficult to navigate this crypto space for any exchange or any company looking to build in Web3 for that matter. Last September, Binance announced the formation of a global advisory board led by former U.S. Senator Ambassador to China Max Baucus. Other members include David Plouffe, former campaign manager for Barack Obama, and Bruno Bezard, former head of the French Treasury. So they've got a powerful team. They got a lot of advisors on their side. Let's see how Cointelegraph broke down this news. To plead guilty, okay, so the same kind of title, reportedly plans to plead guilty to violating U.S. anti-money laundering requirements and stepping down as CEO. Binance founder has reportedly agreed to step down as CEO of his crypto exchange as the U.S. Department of Justice prepares to announce this. Okay, so that's the same so far. The report also indicates that he will plead guilty to a criminal charge. Same again. Although the deal would allow, so this is the part that Forbes omitted. Although the deal would allow CZ to retain his majority stake in Binance, indicating he likely won't face jail time as part of the plea bargain, and he won't be allowed to hold on yet he won't be allowed to hold on an executive position at the company. So he's still going to seemingly retain his majority stake in the company. That probably because he is not a U.S. national. They can't extradite him. I mean, he doesn't live in the U.S. So I'm really guessing that they're going to settle probably not even at 4 billion, probably somewhere in between 2 billion, maximum 3 billion. And I don't think that he is going to, evidently he's not going to do any jail time is what it seems, because he's not even a U.S. national. The Wall Street Journal also reported that this plea deal won't affect pending litigation with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, and it does not include a settlement for the case it brought against Binance in June. So the DOJ settlement will resolve the company's issues with commodity futures trades, as a reported $4.3 billion settlement includes funds that will apply to the CFTC's case and outstanding claims. This is pretty crazy. This is an unexpected yet expected turn, because in this cryptocurrency world, literally anything is possible. It's just he's been so much a part of the shape of the narrative of Binance, and his face has been kind of like the face of Binance. So I'm wondering now who's going to step up as CEO, if it'll be Helen Hai, the senior vice president. She is a brilliant woman, so I'm sure she's more than capable of handling that, but we'll see. We'll see who it is. And here it says there's something going around that they had actually already moved the funds in anticipation of this settlement. So if that's true, then maybe they will pay close to the 4 billion. I don't know. I don't see that happening. But here it says Binance recently moved approximately 3.9 billion USDT from its Binance Cold 2 wallet on Tron to its Binance 3 hot wallet 11 days ago. So possibly they had already been anticipating this whole scenario. And then there's memes going around, of course, the memes of CZ holding up the 4 for 4 billion. No, it's not for 4 billion. If you're wondering what it's for, this is what it's for, which is also ironic. CEO CZ tweeted a series of New Year's resolutions, one of which was to ignore FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, fake news, and attacks on Binance. I mean, it's really kind of ironic that this is his 4, and now he's suddenly been deemed he needs to pay 4 billion. I mean, it's crazy. Following a volatile year in the crypto market, CZ wrote a post on Twitter on the second day of the year explaining that he would try to keep 2023 simple and spend more time on fewer things. After listing 3 do's, including education, compliance, product, and service, he added a number 4 of 1 don't, which was ignore FUD, fake news, attacks, etc. He finished the tweet by asking his followers to link back to this tweet when he tweets 4 in the future. So 4 has already been a thing, and now it's manifested itself into the fine that Binance will pay in the billions. So let's have a look at what's happening after this news to Bitcoin. I mean, not much, to be honest. Not much has happened. We've had a little bit of a decline, but we're still doing pretty all right. There's no massive dump. I mean, this is just the same rising wedge that it's been in for a while now. And also a cleaned up chart. As you can see, this line of support here, if we lose if we fall out of this rising wedge, which there's a 68% chance we will, although in bullish environments, we've been known to break up, which results in a parabolic move upward, we would be seeing anywhere from a $33,000 to a $30,000 Bitcoin. It would not be the end of the world either. And I always say, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. So there's that. So there's no need to panic. Just need to let the news play out and see what happens. Also, this just be a reminder to you to not store your funds on any exchanges. Not Binance, not Coinbase, not anywhere. Just use it to get in and out. If you're a trader, you trade, but store your crypto on your own cold storage wallet, not your keys, not your crypto. I'll repeat that until the end of time. And the principle still stands true, and we will be reminded of it time and time again. Okay? So next up, I wanted to play this clip for you because this is from the show that I'm going to have for you tomorrow on Cardano and why Cardano is a foundational pillar in my portfolio. So this is just a quick clip, but kind of like rings true, especially on a day like today, about launching anti-crypto campaigns and crypto attacks.
So obviously crypto is the enemy of that. So what you have to do is invent this bizarre narrative that somehow crypto is bad for you, and somehow being in charge of your own life, having freedom is a bad thing. And the nanny-state has to come in and protect you from cradle to grave and give this type of a system. Why? Because it's the only way that I think the WEFites can get ESG globally between everybody in the world. If you really want to reduce carbon, if you really want to enforce certain business practices on people, the most effective way of doing that is having control over people's money.
So apart from the ESG comment, I mean, Charles Hoskinson, who is the founder of Cardano, is speaking on our fireside chat here. And he's saying the most effective way to take control of any situation is to take control of somebody's money. And so they launched these huge anti-crypto campaigns and saying that it's bad for you, that the government knows best. And at the end of the day, we have to know better than that, us in the space. We will always have to, until we mature as an industry, we get clear regulation and, we're on the path. But we're used to jumping through hurdles and going through obstacles, and we will make it together to the end. No doubt about it. We just have to stay strong and resilient as a community and continue to fight the good fight. Next up, the end of the show, but I wanted to just bring this to your attention. I mean, the SEC is on a full-on campaign, okay? Together with Senator Elizabeth Warren, Gary Gensler, they are all anti-crypto here. The SEC alleges in a new lawsuit that Kraken failed to register and commingled customer funds. So this is crazy. I kind of saw this morning on Ivan on Tech's stream. I really like him. If you guys love crypto news, you should tune into his live streams in the morning. And he's basically saying the SEC is like a mafia, it's kind of like a gangster. It's like they already settled. Kraken already settled earlier this year for $33 million. And now the SEC is coming back with new charges and new problems and wants them to pay up again. It's like, that's kind of, it's astounding to me. So let's see what this is all about. Kraken accused by SEC of operating unregistered platform, improperly mixing customer funds. So basically, Kraken has joined Coinbase and Binance as targets of Securities and Exchange Commission accusations that the companies are operating without properly registering as securities businesses in the U.S. The SEC highlighted a long list of tokens it considers securities that Kraken traded, each of which has now made multiple appearances. So, this doesn't seem fair to me. Establishing something as a security. Even Gary Gensler himself has been, we've seen him in videos when he was a professor at MIT saying that they weren't securities. A lot of the cryptos that are named here, and they don't give clear guidelines, and then they come and they punish you for it afterward. I don't think that is fair practice, and it's a bullying. It's just crazy. Unique to Monday's lawsuit are claims that Kraken created a significant risk by commingling up to $33 billion in customer crypto funds. So, long story short, basically what a lot of this is referring to is Kraken taking the trading fee. When users are using their funds to trade, then Kraken takes the trading fee. At least that's what I understood from it. That's also what Ivan on Tech has taken from this. So I think that a big portion of this comes from the fees that they take from customer trading, which is what all exchanges do and which is how they make their revenue, right? So that alongside the securities that they're trading, it feels like the SEC is just reaching for anything it can claw its hands on at this point. And here you have from Dave Ripley, the now CEO of Kraken. We strongly disagree with the SEC claims, stand firm in our view that we do not list securities and plan to vigorously defend our position. So people are just, going up against, it's a lot of money being poured into lawyers. You saw it with Ripple and with XRP, except for Ripple was the wrong person to pick on because they had the deep pockets and they were able to pay for those lawyers. So here they say they're going to defend their position rigorously, and we have seen before the SEC argues that Kraken should come in and register with the agency when there is no clear path. Sorry, guys. When there's no clear path to registration. Its allegations are factually incorrect, contrary to law, and the wrong way to create policy in the U.S. As an industry leader, we will stand up to these allegations and defend the crypto industry rights to exist in the U.S. We believe congressional action is the most appropriate path to resolving the lack of regulatory clarity in the U.S., and will continue to support those efforts to bring clarity and certainty to the chaotic environment that has been created in the U.S. Wow. The U.S. is driving innovation offshore. People are leaving. They're losing leadership. This is terrible. They're fumbling the opportunity of a lifetime to get ahead on this groundbreaking, frontier of the future of technology and the internet as we know it. It's really disturbing to see, but it is good to see that there are people standing up in defense of this. I'm going to go here. This is Senator Cynthia Lummis. The SEC cannot continue ruling by enforcement. My statement on the Kraken lawsuit below. So she is going against the SEC, saying it's not Right. The SEC cannot continue ruling by enforcement. Crypto asset companies have repeatedly tried to get guidance from the SEC only to be hit with enforcement actions causing unnecessary harm to consumers. It is time for Congress to pass a regulatory framework to provide clear rules to the SEC on what a security is and what a commodity is. The Loomis-Gillibrand Responsible Financial Innovation Act will rein in the SEC and allow financial innovation to thrive in the U.S. I got the goosebumps reading this. This is what we stand for as a nation: democracy, conversation, innovation, not the opposite. We are heading down the wrong path, and I commend Senator Cynthia Loomis for this post. And more and more people getting upset by what they're seeing. Here we have Jesse Powell saying, USA's top decel is back with another assault on America. The masochists haven't been happy with the beatings they've been taking in New York and are shopping for a different flavor of ragdom in California. I thought we settled all their concerns for $30 million in February. Now they're back for seconds. Kind of like what I was saying about being a mob boss. I mean, where does this end? The message is clear. $30 million buys you about 10 months before the SEC comes around to extort you again. Lawyers can do a lot with $30 million, but the SEC knows that a real fight will likely cost $100 million plus and valuable time. If you can't afford it, get your crypto company out of the US. That is just terrible. And that's just exactly what I said about Ripple. They picked on the wrong person when they picked on Ripple and XRP because Ripple has those deep pockets, and they ended up spending around that amount. It's crazy. It's crazy, guys. Crazy times, but we're fighting the good fight together. And you know, we will prevail. This space will prevail, and things are now, I mean, there's not much more for the SEC to pick on. I mean, I say that now, but probably there is infinite things. But what I mean is all of the major issues that the SEC has had on its list are being crossed off. And hopefully after this is all settled and the dust clears, we can just take off on our bull run and just thrive and grow as a space together again without all of this stuff, unclear stuff. I mean, the worst part is to be in limbo in life in general. The worst part is just not to know. So let's just get that all out of the way and just continue forward. And one last message from Ryan Sean Adams. I saw this also on Ivan on Tech. The message from the SEC leadership is crystal clear. To crypto. If you settle with them, they will sue you again. If you meet with them, they will use the information against you. If you come into the office for a good old coffee and a chat with the head honcho, you'll be added to the list. They want to destroy you. No option but fight. So, as Charles Hoskinson says, we are fighting the good fight, and this is exactly why we fight. We have to remember why, because at the other end of this is freedom. Is freedom to transact, to be in control of our data, of our money, of our self-sovereign, our identities. I mean, like this movement is everything. So it is well worth a fight. And congratulations to us as a crypto community for continuing down that path. We will see what happens with Binance. I will keep you updated on everything that I find out on my end. And yeah. Finally, the chart that I was telling you about, this is from Crypto Revolution. I thought this was really interesting because, of course, the first thought in everybody's mind is, oh God, is this another FTX? Are we going to have another collapse? I knew the bear market wasn't over. Guys, let's rein it in. The bear market has already passed. We are in the disbelief phase, and we are due for a correction at any time. Like I keep saying, 20 to 50%, it'll come. Maybe not today, not tomorrow, not next month, but it will come, and it will be a normal part of a bull run. I'm convinced that it will not destroy the uptrend that we have, that it'll still be intact, and that we're just right on schedule, basically. So this is what happened after just for some kind of like food for thought. After the BitMEX CEO, Arthur Hayes, leaves role after U.S. charges. So when the BitMEX CEO, Arthur Hayes, who I think is brilliant, I think his views are really, really, really amazing. After he stepped down, crypto took off into oblivion and the bull run went full-fledged. I don't know if that provides some kind of clarity or it gets kind of those last cobwebs out of the closet, but if it's any consolation, crypto absolutely ripped after Arthur Hayes stepped down. So who knows? Maybe it'll do the same now. That's all I got for today. Tomorrow, I've got an amazing episode on ADA, Cardano, for all you Cardano holders. So be sure to tune in, and I'll see you tomorrow.